When I've got to think about a thesis topic rather than a complex building or a structure which tells its function, I let my ego down and let the site or space tell me what should come on it. While coming to the site, Qatar, a country rich in culture, tradition, diverse inhabitants, my interest with the music made me think in a way that people are just listening and enjoying the sound of music. Why can't they have an opportunity to experience the sound of music? On to the site Doha Port. This whole area is under the Doha Port development, which is about 300 acres of land, turning out to be one of the focusing tourist hotspot in Qatar downtown. The entire Doha Port is connected to the Corniche, which is nearly 7.3 kilometers throughout the sea line. Corniche is the most urbanized and attractive place in Qatar. Along with the urbanized development, it has also developed a green fabric which could be seen over the whole stretch. My idea was to maintain the site character, and I have considered the green fabric, which is the most focusing piece on that area, and also designed in a way which the landscape throughout the Corniche could not just disappear on a point where my site is. I let the green fabric spread through my site. The existing road network into the site has to be maintained because the site was protruding towards the sea. Site has got access from only one direction, which is probably the only possible access point to the site. The site has an L shape in which the longer side is onto the sea. The zoning of the site is done by splitting the site into two pieces, where the longer side has to be for the building and the shorter for the parking and outdoor services. The green fabric which is from the Corniche onto the site is forming a loop that is going around the site and will be connected back to the starting point. The footprints on the green fabric might be an advantage for the building. Theoretically, a loop functions in a way that it starts from a point or position and it circulates to reach the same point at its end. In terms of psychology, in this field the loop represents the way in which certain factors attracts the mind to shift into something different to what the person was initially doing. This concept will help to create a space which have the capability to make the visitors experience the space to its full potential. The idea is to create a loop within the building through different sounds and effects, making it interesting to the visitors to complete the loop. This image shows about the location where the building is to be designed. The first picture shows about the site and the existing 15-meter wide two-way road connecting to the site. And the second picture marking the existing building, which are temporary structures made for construction purposes. In the third picture, the two yellow dots shows the neighboring museums, which are the Qatar National Museum and the Islamic Art Museum. The museum which is to be designed will connect all three museums in a triangular network. The three museums will be buffered by the Mia Park, which is in between those three. Now the site. Site is about 11.3 acres, which is quite flat and has a well-defined boundary. The site has a height of 7 to 10 meters from the sea level, which depends on the level of high tides and low tides. Based on the coastal form of Qatar and the land use sensitivity analysis that has been undertaken and mapped, appropriate forms of land use and occupancy in the four major coastal zones have been identified. The site falls in Coastal Zone 2 as per the Zone Development Control and Design Regulations of the Qatar National Master Plan 2018. This zone is comprising of reclaimed land, which is the process of creating new land from oceans, seas, riverbeds. And this area was initially as a part of Qatar Port being developed today. The rules under this zone regulates the offset to be 50 meters from the mean tide line for high-rise building, that is more than 16 meters, and no particular offset for low-rise buildings. Buildings with low height and less deep pile does not need any setback for construction. High-rise building with deep piles should keep a setback minimum of 50 meters from the mean high tide line. On the sea line, the first building is the Qatar Islamic Museum, and then the Mia Park in the center, and then we have the museum which is to be built. All those buildings that comes along the sea line had a sandy colored and rigid formed structures. Every other buildings on the sea line follows a certain pattern, whether it is their form or their type and so on. The Mia Park acts as a buffering zone between our site and the museum. While entering the site, my study has divided it into two nodes depending on the density, Node 1 and Node 2. That is, when people approach the museum, everyone gathered there at Node 1. The second node is the museum plaza. The distance from Node 1 to the Node 2 is the main stream. We have a landscape and all along the stretch. The second node, people come there and then disperse, as in either to museum or museum site. So the designing is done by considering these criteria. Now about the form. A basic cylindrical volume connected end to end by overlapping. This form has been developed from the internal circulation, also considering the climatic conditions and visual aspects of the site. Manipulations were made to the basic cylindrical volume to give an aesthetical appearance, and also this will allow the smooth flow of the wind without getting obstructed. To the basic shape, openings are given to each cylindrical volumes. The openings are given below the mass. This could give internal light without heating the indoor spaces. Now the master plan. The master plan has been solved taking into consideration the shape and form of the site, its nature and quality, uses with vehicles and pedestrians, as mentioned previously. The data collection for the project has been done within this objective. Services and the respective access have been included as required. The entire building has its outer portion has been designed to contribute to users' experience. Once the user is in after ticket verification, they are in an exclusive area, sterile from any disturbances. This being a sound-sensitive project, vehicular access has been restricted to the point where it doesn't interfere with the activities arranged from the users. The form of the building is made curvy and avoiding sharp edges and cuttings as the area gets a lot of intense wind. The roads have been solved in a way that there is no blocks, that allows a smooth flow of vehicles. From this picture, you could easily see the main entrance to the site and other outdoor services. Coming to the planning of the building, the main concept of planning is in organic shape, same as the form of the building, which is like the whole planning is continued with a story based. Totally 5 loops connected to the single building. In that, 4 loop experience the sound museum, and the last one loop is the concert hall, which has separate entry and exit. Here is the central water core, and then the outline of the site beneath. And then the basement areas and services. The area which is shaded in blue is the basement parking for the visitors to concert hall. Then the site and the development of the building. The whole building spaces and functions are sorted in levels, like the basement levels, the ground levels, and the mezzanine areas that are the floors above. Here we could see the first and second layers, and it shows the basement coming outside the building plinth area, and then the site with master plan. And this shows the basement floor inside the building plinth. And then the ground floor plan, and then the floors above the ground floor. Here is a perspective section of the entire museum. Here is the main entrance, VIP entrance, ticket scanning and the restrooms. And then the skywall area. And then comes the sound corridor. And then these both floors are for open installations. And then the central water core connecting all the floors. Beneath is the peace garden. Then the installation galleries. And then the sound installation rooms. And then the concert hall. And then the basement parking area for the concert hall. And then all the service areas. These are the materials used outside the building: beach sandstone and cotton ceramic tile. These materials would give a sandy color and texture for the building exterior. This section below is the sound pillar hall, a space which is totally dark and are only illuminated with the optical fiber strings, which could also make sounds on striking with fingers. These strings could make sound along with lighting, which changes on the pitch and frequency of the sound which it has to be propagated. The floors of the space are exposed with glasses, and inside the floor space, which is beneath the standing glass surface, there are vibrating plates. Those plates vibrate on the sound made by the strings. The fluorescent fine sandy particles on those plates would make patterns on sound. This picture is the sound corridor. In the design, this corridor is basically the transition areas between the loops. This picture is the sky wall area. This wall is basically dark and the paint used on the surface is Venta black. It absorbs 99% of the light. Now let's do a quick look onto the sheets.